So, in any relationship, say you have a relationship, say you're married, or just let's just say you're dating, whatever your circumstances. Um, you're having conflict. You guys can't get along. You guys can't see head to head, and you just write me some comments about what you're really dealing with in your relationship, and I will try to put it inside of you make it a part of what I'm saying. All right. So you have conflict in your relationships. Either, you're not feeling like you're getting enough attention, or you're not feeling like you're getting enough love, or you don't have the emotional support, or you're not really being, stimulated enough, or, your partner is lying, or there's infidelity, there's deceit, there's manipulation. I mean, there could be a whole bunch of stuff, because once one thing starts, once one lie is told, then, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like that one thing leads to the other one thing, and that one thing leads to the other one thing, because then, people feel like, okay, well, I did this that one time and I wasn't caught and that wasn't no effect. I'm going to do it again. And then that spreads into that one time of maybe like infidelity or telling a lie leads to, okay, well, I can do it again. And so I'll do it again. And then it's like, respect is kind of lost. Like, even though somebody won't really say it, like, the respect is lost, kind of. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, put yourself in their shoes. Like, put yourself in your shoes of if you're continuously lying to your friend, you know what I'm saying? Or your partner. If you're continually lying to your partner and they're not catching you, or they're not giving you consequences, then the respect is kind of lost. And that leads to the love is kind of lost. But that's just one situation. So I need to know, like, to put into context what you're going through. But it all boils back to having an amazing relationship with ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Because that gives us the ability to discern, like, what's good for us and what's not. Like, that gives us the ability to say, okay, I don't need to depend on anyone else to provide me the love that I'm seeking. I don't need anyone else to provide me with that emotional support that I'm seeking. I don't need anyone else to give me anything, because usually when you feel like you're at a lack, or when you feel like, like you're just there's an inadequacy when people start to be conflictual towards each other. And depending on the situation, depending on like why the conflict is going on, like the top story, there's always going to be a top story, but that's not really the issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always going to be like a top story of, I know you was cheating on me. Like, I know that you were cheating, but that's really not the issue. Um, 1 second. I'm cooking oatmeal. I haven't had breakfast yet, and so I hope I hope that I'm back on. Um, but yeah, like I was saying, my connection was poor. Like I was saying, like, you know, that top issue is never really going to be the issue. As far as saying, like, okay, you've been cheating on me. I know you've been cheating on me. You're fussing about somebody cheating on you, but that's not really the issue. The issue is like, there's a bunch of issues. One of those issues has to do with the person that's doing the cheating. And so the other half of the issue has something to do with, of course, being cheated on, but, you know, it's either one or two things. Like, either the one's cheating is going to stop, and you're going to forgive, or the one's cheating is not going to stop, and you're going to walk away. Or the one's cheating is not going to stop, and you're going to stay. So, I mean, there's no need in trying to change people. I feel like, you can't change people. But this is not about cheating relationships. This is about conflict. This is about knowing that anything that you have a problem with someone else not doing for you, then you're not really doing for yourself. You know, you know what I'm saying? It's like if I was in a relationship that didn't provide enough love for me, and I didn't really feel content with the love that was given to me, then ultimately I need to check myself because no one's supposed to be really filling me up. I'm supposed to be walking into a relationship to where everything that I need, I provide for myself. And so it's a bonus for other people to give to me. You know what I'm saying? So, it's and that takes away a lot of conflict. That takes away a lot of, people um, you know, being hurt, or people feeling like they've been cheated, or people feeling unsatisfied. I'm the type of person I believe that every relationship can work. As a trying to get a good connection on Instagram. I'm the type of person that believes every relationship can work. I believe every relationship can work because when you have two whole people, like you know, when you have two people that are healthy, when you have two people that are spiritually evolved, when you have two people that, have the philosophy of, I'm important. I am the most important thing in my life. My spirituality, my connection to source, my connection to God is also the most important thing in my life. When you have those type of people, and they have that knowledge, it's almost definite that the relationship is going to work because they're not dependent on anybody else to give them anything. Their relationship first, their relationship with God is more important than, anybody else's relationship. And when that type of, when you have that type of understanding, there will be minimal conflict in your relationship. Like minimal. Because the philosophy behind a good relationship is ultimately knowing that you give yourself everything. Like, you have to provide yourself with everything that you're expecting other people to give you first. Like, you have to fill yourself up. You have to get to know yourself. And one of the things, like, it's wild because I grew up in a home that was full of conflict. Like, my parents were and are still conflictual. Like, their relationship has very little harmony in it, and it's been going on for like more than 20 something years. And and to be honest, they're not happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not happy, and they could be happy for many reasons. They could be happy if they really found themselves. They could be happy if they really journeyed within themselves. They could be happy if they took time from, trying to mold each other into what they want and just molded themselves into what they want. You know what I'm saying? Like when we get down to relationships and when we get down to conflict, first of all, in a sentence of conflictual relationships, the first thing we need to talk about is, it's a toss up, but I'm going to say relationship. Because relationship with yourself, like, you can't really have conflict without a relationship. It can be like it could be a conflictual relationship. But anyway, it's a relationship. Like, if you just say, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it boils down to, like, really the relationship that you have with yourself, you know, how long are you gonna take being in a conflictual relationship? And it can happen if you're evolved and the other person isn't. It can happen if, you know, you're just completely tired of the relationship, but you feel like you've invested so much time that you don't wanna like go your separate ways. It could be because you're jealous and you don't want to leave that person, and someone else, has a harmonious time with that person. It could be so many things, but you know, conflictual relationships, the remedy is spiritual evolution and honesty. The remedy has to be spiritual evolution and honesty. What is really causing the conflict? Like, you know, my partner don't want to talk to me, but why doesn't your partner want to talk to you? Is it that when you try to hold a conversation with your partner, you're not really holding a conversation? You're inquiring about, you're trying to find evidence or something. So it's something. It's the underlying. So if someone tells you, it's impossible to talk to you, you have to dig deep within yourself and be true within yourself, man. It just has a lot to do with honesty. But first, you have to be honest with yourself. Like if that's the type of relationship you want, if you want a honest, if you want a loving, if you want a truthful relationship, you have to be that type of person within yourself. So, I mean, basically, this is the deal. When people are in love, when people are growing in love, they kind of don't know their partner. You know what I'm saying? Like, truly. Like, you like what you see, or you like, you like the spiritual aspect of a person, but you're not really paying attention to how they treat their mom, how they treat their sister, how they treat their brother, how they hang with their boys. You're not trying to see how they deal with, how they are with their girls. You're not trying to see how they are. Like, you're not really looking at how they are. But you can tell if this person is going to be a good fit if you take your ego out of, I like the way he kind of like, the way he kind of move, and just watch him and watch the way he do things, or watch her and watch the way she move. Like, you will know if that person is right for you or if it's going to fit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, because you're looking at, like, is he respected? Is he respectful? You know, these are all the signs. Like, these are all the signs of, like, is she respectful? Like, does she respect her body? Does he respect his body? Does he respect his mom? Does she respect her mom? Does she respect her parents? Does she respect the people that her guardians if she don't have parents? Does she take care of her kids? How does she take care of her kids? Like, is her house clean? Like, all of these things are like are are essentials you need to look at in a partnership that'll tell you if it's gonna be long standing or not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Does this fit with your values? Does he go to church? Are you spiritual and he's not? It's not gonna work unless you talk to him about it or you talk to her about it, and they love you enough that they're willing to better themselves for themselves, because it's not for you. Like that, and that's another thing. People are always, doing things for the other person. My oatmeal is burning. You know, people are constantly doing things for the other person. They're constantly, you know, um, I want to be better for you, and you kind of mold yourself for this person, and then, it doesn't work. And the reasons why it won't work, because you can't give a person that much power. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't allow your partner, whoever you're dating, to have that much power over you, because then you're already conquered, and nobody wants someone that's already conquered. You know what I'm saying? And that again, that's where a whole bunch of dishonesty and being, disloyal and all that other stuff comes in, and lying, and really and truly, when you give your all to someone, they don't like when you give your all in more, meaning I want to mold myself for you. You know what I'm? It's like it won't work. You can't be too. You can't like a relationship, a healthy relationship. All right, is two whole people, meaning like two people that are themselves, the higher form of themselves. And when I say themselves, I'm talking about like they have already figured out, like, you know they're okay. When I say themselves, I mean they're strong in their stance. Like they're not being able to be manipulated to, fall into line with anyone else's principles or values. Like they're themselves. Like they know what they like. They know what they want. They know, how they want to dress. They know like this is what I like. I don't want to do this. Like they're strong in their stance. All right. When you give in, man, it's a bad deal. Like don't like, especially for women, like don't surrender your power. You know, I'm 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 you know even submitting. I'm gonna say this. When you submit your power, like when you surrender your power, when they say, submit to your partner or submit to your husband, meaning submit to the point to where you guys can get along, and like he can feel like a leader, right? So all I'm saying is keep your power in your relationship. Like just don't surrender anything for anyone to feel any type of way, man. Like don't lessen yourself. If you're a queen or if you're a king, don't take anything away from yourself so that your partner can feel like a king or a queen. Then what is that? Like if they're not king queen yet, you can't make them into that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like, and that's where other conflicts come in, because we're giving people the power that's not really ready to have it. You know what I'm saying? Like we're giving our wives the power, and they're not really ready to be queen. You know what I'm saying? Like we're giving our husbands the power, and they're not really ready to be king. And so like there's a lot of conflict, and internally there's a lot of conflict. So externally, of course, you're gonna feel a lot of conflict. Conflict in general stems from the inside. There's so much that can like stem and cause conflict. It could be stuff that happened in your past. It could be stuff that occurred when you were when you were a child. It could be stuff from your last relationship. It could be anger with your parents. It could be, man, it could be so many things. And so that's why I say like it's good to have spiritual evolution, to like have a form to where you can like really get to know yourself and really heal. And that's where the best relationships are going to come from, you journeying within, taking the time to have time with yourself, to be in silence, to pray, to meditate, to write, and to really get down to those areas that cause you pain. Like, and that by healing those areas, you're going to heal your relationships. So it's like I said, there's so many ways that we can go about talking about this, and there's so many ways that we can, you know, um, say this is why you have conflict in a relationship, and there's so many ways where you can say you can heal that conflict in a relationship, and you know, it all starts with you. You know, it all starts with you as as a person that's healing, to get rid of the pain, to get rid of the hurt or the abandonment or the rejection, because that comes out in different ways. Like it stems, people are triggered, and so it causes a lot of conflict. Like it causes a lot of conflict. Um, and also, you know, it's like I almost kind of hate to say this, but it's the truth. Hip hop culture, hip hop culture is breaking down a lot of relationships. Seriously. Because the culture is so negative and so vibrationally low. And don't get me wrong, you know, everybody that listens to hip hop, if isn't isn't sleep, as I want to say. Some people that listen to hip hop, like old time hip hop, old school hip hop, are very conscious people. But the music that has evolved today, hello, this is your sister and mama across the river. She across the river. I don't know.